front of our green coat mounted stewards, we have this magnificent class, and I could just ask Carol Hugan to pass on my Vicky's and my love and best wishes to the lovely Helen Taylor, because every year we receive a Christmas card from Helen and Ken, and for over 50 years they exhibited here in harness, and it's great to see they're making a wonderful. They continue to want to make a contribution, and there's a lovely story about how they met and how they set up the Royaldale stud as well. But delightful lady, and today it's a great pleasure to welcome Helen, her lovely daughter Cheryl Jones, who are very dear friends of Carol. So Carol Hugan, it's down to you.
Thanks very much, Angus. Welcome, Helen.
Oh, how do you do?
Hey, what have you done to the old boy? Why isn't he down here?
Oh, he's got many as these suits.
Yes, I know. He's not as well as he could be. Stop laughing.
No, I had to bring my daughter so she'd know what to do when we fall off our perch.
I can't see you ever doing that. She's been a wonderful competitor here. Started off with saddle ponies, ridden ponies, and was taking a pony into a sale when the pony sort of jibbed a little bit, and someone grabbed it and up it went in the air and came down on Helen's leg and just about cut the whole leg off. She went through years of absolute hell and operations and what have you, but during the whole time kept going with those ponies. I saw her on crutches, platting horses. I pushed you around the wheelchair, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Those were the days. She was just an absolutely amazing lady, and really sometimes things happen and you wonder how on earth there can be any good in it, but it led her to the world of harness ponies. A big change in lifestyle, a lot to learn, and she did it with style as she does everything else, and became one of the most successful competitors in the world of harness. So I do dips my lid to you.
Thank you.
And we've had some good times too. You know, the best times were when the pairs were on. Yeah, tell us about that with the two ponies.
Oh, yeah, they were a wonderful pair.
Harnessing up wasn't real wonderful, was it?
No, but they were thrilled to drive.
They were a thrill. Domino and Jubilee. One was Hackney, wasn't he? And the other Australian. The mare was an Australian pony, and they adjusted their stride to suit each other, didn't they, Helen?
Yeah, Domino I thought would be the flighty one, but it was Jubilee, and Domino used to just go steady and wait until she settled down, and then away they'd go.
Oh, beautiful they were. Absolutely a thrill to see. This is a special class, and we do thank Ken and Helen Taylor, and of course Cheryl too, to be here with us today for this magnificent trophy, the Royaldale Trophy, and we're waiting with bated breath to see who will take it out this year. Thanks, Angus.
Well, Carol, while you're there with Helen, just ask her how many, because Helen will know, how many ribbons, how many big blue ribbons did they win in their harness over the years?
How many fingers and toes have you got, Helen? He wants to know how many big blue ribbons and broad ribbons you won.
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. But they went to the tip when we shifted, and it was.
They went to the tip when they shifted.
Went to the tip. There you are. The best rubbish at the tip.
That's lovely. Well, we'll cross back down to you very soon for that presentation.
Thank you, Angus.
Yeah, lovely lady, and thanks to Helen Taylor. I really appreciate always getting that nice little message at Christmas time. So very special people. Graham, you've seen them compete down here for many years, and they came to the Ekka. And I tell you what, Helen was the boss.
Was she?
She was the boss. She said, Ken jump. Ken jumped, I'll tell you.
Yeah, she was the boss when Ken led her.
Yes. Lovely couple. They worked together, and which is fantastic to see.
But isn't it good they had a common interest?
They did.
Yep. They were wonderful to me. I've owed them tremendous amounts.
They were like godparents to Carol Hugan, and what one hell of a godparent she would have been, godchild she would have been.
Unbelievable. Hey, listen, you mentioned they had a very interesting meeting and courtship.
I did, yeah. That's it.
Is it something you can share with us?
No, but they did. It was just wonderful to see that the way the two of them met and the way their courtship, and then they came through and they developed this great interest together, and it's just been an unbelievable combination over the years. And Royaldale Pony Stud is known worldwide, just not here in Australia. It's just a beautiful pony stud, yeah.
But the funny thing was, you know, the pairs, it's something, putting two horses together for the pairs, you only do it once a year here at the Sydney Royal. And of course, it's quite complicated, as you were saying earlier, Graham. The harnessing up is quite different to a single horse. And of course, these two would be there harnessing up this pair, and there'd be tremendous arguments. You don't put that there. You've got that buckled up wrong, Ken. I'll get out of it. All of this would go on. And really, you know, they draw a crowd, and the pair of them had bung it on even more. They were wonderful entertainment in the stables in those days. But really, it was all for show because they had a terrific time. Their son, Jeffrey, rode as well. Hack's down here. We'd often hear Helen yelling out to Jeffrey, "Get out of bed, Jeffrey. Your class is on, didn't you, Hel?"
Yeah, that's right.
He wasn't as keen as Mum and Dad. But Cheryl's been a wonderful backstop to them too. Cheryl, good to have you here.
It's always good to support them. You know, it's been a long, hard road, but they've done very, very well.
Thank you. Well, we'll see these three magnificent ponies now line up and wait for the official decision. Who will take out the 2014 Royaldale Trophy for the champion non-Hackney harness pony for 2014?
Yeah, Carol,
All
well,
winners.
those eligible are the champion, reserve champion, non-Hackney horse, Miro Gelding, the winner of special class 667, special class 700, the champion, reserve champion, non-Hackney pony and harness, and special class 708, the champion and reserve champion, sulky or buggy, and the champion, reserve champion, non-Hackney horse stallion or colt, or non-Hackney pony stallion or colt. So this result has just come through. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of special class 660 for the Supreme Champion non-Hackney harness horse or pony, congratulations goes to breastplate number 106, River Lodge Vandy's Hero, Ronald and Warren and Yvonne and Kerry Barlow from Barrel in New South Wales. So put your hands together and give them a lovely big round of applause. Congratulations to them. And just to let you know that this was donated by Ken and Helen Taylor, Rosedale Stud, first presented in 2011. The stud was formed in 1952 with the purchase of a small number of pony mares. Originally, the Taylors exhibited in lead and saddle classes, but after a bad accident, as Carol mentioned, exhibited to non-Hackney harness classes. Mr. and Mrs. Taylor had great success showing their ponies at the Sydney Royal from 1952 until 2010. And totaling 58 years. Folks, put your hands together. Give them a big round of applause. 58 years. Although Mr. and Mrs. Taylor no longer exhibit at the Sydney Royal to show, their decision to donate this perpetual trophy will ensure their continued involvement in the show, awarded for the Supreme Champion on Hackney harness horse or pony. And last year, in fact, Carol Hukin, you'll be delighted to hear this, it was won by the same exhibit. River Lodge Vandy's Hero, so it's back down to you.
Thanks very much there, Angus. And Helen had a gleam in her eye watching this pony go round. The Barlow family, huge congratulations.
Thank you. It's such a privilege, and especially thank you to Ken and Helen for this beautiful trophy and ribbon. It's such a thrill to win.
It was in good company, and we're pleased for all of the competitors that were out here in these harness classes this year. They've been amazing. Only one fancy one like this gets this Royaldale Trophy, so congratulations to everyone involved.
Thank you, and thank you to my brother Warren and all my family that help out the back. And it's a lot of hard work, and it's great just to be in this position. Thank you.
Well said. Good on you. There you go. This is the stuff that memories are made of, folks. This wonderful trophy from one harness competitor to another over the generation.
Thanks,
I hate it when they cry down here. I can't stop crying either.
Thanks, Carol. And I'll tell you what, Jill Grant will be looking down upon you too, because that lovely exhibit was hired by Bambara Heroic.
Oh, how
so
wonderful.
there you are. So Graham Barker, back to you. We have a horse on course in the second round, the jump-off round. Thanks, Barks.
Thanks, Angus. There's only 3 to go. This is going to be pretty exciting. Casco and Jessica Brown will be the first to go. And the course, they start over number 5, then 6, 7, 9 BC, 10, 11A, 3 and 14. And 14 is in fact 2 in the reverse direction. So here goes Jessica Brown. Now being first out, she's got to try and get a score on the board that'll force the other riders to take risks. And when you're taking risks against the clock, you can get into trouble. Look at that for a tight turn. Back on the 9BC. Lands in about 23 seconds. So we'll use that as a bit of an idea as to how they're progressing. So good round so far from Jess Brown. Over the second last. No, third last. It was the second last time. Now she ducks inside to get a better line. That's a good round. Come on, let's hear it for Jessica Brown. That's a good round. 47.57. And clear. Right, that means now the other two are going to have to work. Because to better that score, they've got to go clear, and they've got a better 47.57. Next to go are Duranta and David Cameron. So as they go around, please put your hands together. This magnificent harness exhibit, twice Supreme Champion. Boy, oh boy, that is something to be very, very proud of. You know, to win a ribbon at a Royal, you've done well. To get a championship, you've done extremely well. But to get the Supreme, well, a lot of people only ever dream of achieving that. So here's David Cameron. Not going as quick, I don't think, as Jessica Brown. You be the judge. Now he's in trouble. He's got to rail down. So he's not going to beat her. And remember, Jessica Brown went inside. So that would have saved a bit of time and a bit of ground. So David just concentrating on getting around without penalty by the look of it. But he's already got 4 faults. Comes in between the two fences there, 1 to go, on 4 penalties, and a time of 50.04. What a beautiful pony. Have a look at the way he strides out. That's the long Hackney. You can see the legs don't come up anywhere near as high as the Hackneys we saw earlier. And what a beautiful exhibit. In the Viceroy. The Viceroy is a vehicle that was built just for the show ring. So well done, the Barlow family from Barrel here in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. There's the handler over there to assist the exhibitor off the arena. Here's our final competitor, and this guy's got plenty of experience. Nick of time, Jamie Coleman. Rode for Australia in the Olympics, and also he was an Australian coach for quite some time. But he's got to go. And he's competing against the daughter of a man that he competed against for a long time. Jessica Brown, daughter of Rod Brown. So come on, Jamie Coleman, you're going to have to move, my boy. Young Jess has set the standard. You're going to take that inside line. I don't think he's going as fast. No, he's not taking the inside line. So he's going to concentrate on going clear. He's not going all out to win. Well, that's my opinion anyway. And he's got one down. So now he's got a better 50.04 to get second placing. So it's going to be Jessica Brown that's going to win this class. Well done to her. It was a great first round ride, or first in the jump off ride. Into the last, and another one down. So I think that score will change to 8. I don't think it's going to matter anyway, because he had a slower time. So it'll be third placing for Jamie Coleman. So the first three places in this class have been decided by the jump-off score and time. The fourth and fifth placing will be decided by the time of the four falters in the first round of competition. A very special thanks to Tough Rock for their support. They have made a product available for the winner of the class.
Steve. Steve. Steve.
Hi, I'm Tim from HoseLink and we're here at the show. Save 20% on no-burst hose fittings, only $30, or get a free Superjet washer with any auto rewind hose reel. Come and see us for great show specials. That's HoseLink at the show.
There are those amongst us that push themselves further, those that give a little more, those that value the safety of the person next to them more than their own, those ready to help people at home as well as abroad. You might not notice them, but those few standing proud are the reason some can stand at all. Army Reserve. Challenge yourself.
Nitro Circus Live Show of all time! Mind-blowing new show, direct from a sellout tour of North America.
Hey guys, Travis Pastrana here. Coming to Australia for the first time in 4 years, bringing with me the most insane Nitro Circus Live show we've ever done. You do not want to miss it.
Featuring 45 of the world's best in FMX, BMX, and skate. Plus, a host of outrageous new contraptions off the 50-foot-high Nitro Giganta ramp. Hurry, second show on sale now through Ticketek.
TAFE Swizzy gives you the best opportunity to gain job-ready skills.
TAFE Swizzy was my first choice because of the hands-on training.
I get a chance to practice my skills in the workplace.
To find your course, call or visit our website and get job ready today.
Looking to invest?
ljhooker.com.
Looking to buy?
ljhooker.com.
Looking to sell?
ljhooker.com.
Visit ljhooker.com today.
Well, our officials are heading off to the presentation area in readiness for the presentation of awards in class 820. And the event for the Group A Section 3, and our very special thanks to Tough Rock Proprietary Limited for their very generous support in providing product for the winning exhibit. So I think we're just about ready. Looks as though the ribbons are being handed over. So the winner. And there's the winner's music is number 23, Casco, and by Rod and Jessica Brown, and written by Jessica Brown. Clear in the jump off, the only one to go clear in the jump off. They've jumped 2 clear rounds. Their time 47.57. Second placing to number 31, R.R. Dyranta, David Cameron, 12 faults in the jump off in 50.04. Third placing, number 40, Nick of Time, Jamie Coman, 8 faults in the jump off in 53.81. Fourth placing to Copper Bella Visage and Brooke Campbell, who was 4 faults in the first round in 73.43. Fifth to number 70, Yolambi's Bellini Star and Stephen Hill with 4 faults in 75.60 in the first round. So while the presentations of the other horses are going on, Carol, you're alongside the winner, and that is Jessica Brown.
Yes, I am, Graham. Jessica, what a terrific ride, and I'm sure you want to tell the horse's story.
Casco came from Germany about a year and a half ago. He's been a super horse for me. He's brought me along a long way in my riding. He's not long back from a little injury we had at the end of last year, so it's taken us a few classes to get going here, but he was super today. I'd like to thank the sponsors of the class, all my sponsors, Bruno Delgrange Australia, Horsepower, Stable 8, and the RAS. They run a great show every year. It's wonderful to come here and jump.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Well said. And Tough Rock, what a great product it is. I think every stable should have a little tub of Tough Rock. It's a wonderful thing to have on hand for little injuries that you're not quite sure whether they're serious enough. A bit of swelling. In the old days, we used to mix up powders and all sorts of things, and this is terrific stuff in this little tub. Always available. You just put it on the horse's leg or wherever you're a little. I've known some of the horsey people to put them on their ankles or fetlocks if they get a little bit swollen up, and next time, 9 times out of 10, it disappears. So Tough Rock, great product. Thanks everybody involved with this event. Thanks, Graham, for great coverage as well.
Thanks, Carol, and great event, and well done to young Jessica Brown. I get a lot of pleasure out of talking about some of these young people, because I can remember I was doing the commentary when their parents were riding. When Rod Brown was riding, I was covering the events, and now his daughter, and I see it so often. So we've probably got a bit of nice ride-off music, thanks Phil, as they go on their lap of honour. Put your hands together, everybody, that was a good event. Well done, Jessica Brown. Well done, David Cameron, Jamie Coman, Brooke Campbell and Stephen Hill. Now I'd like to take this opportunity of inviting each and every one of you back here tomorrow afternoon. The big Grand Prix, the #1 event at this year's Sydney Royal Easter Show. 3 will be the first round, and 5 for the second round of competition. And this is a 2-star event. All the Group A Section 1 classes this year's Royal have been 2-star. You might say, well, what does that mean? Well, to the world of show jumping and the competitors, it's very, very important, because they will then get points on the world ranking system. And so if they go overseas, if they've got some points on the table, then there's a possibility they get a wild card and an invitation to compete at some of the big shows. To get a 2-star, we've had to raise $60,000 in prize money over the 5 or 6 events, and there's been some very generous people who have guaranteed the prize money. An international course designer has been brought over, Mr. Werner Deeks, and Werner's been here 3 years now. Mr. Ho from Singapore, our international judge, it's his 3rd year as well. And we do say a special thank you to some people who have worked very, very hard to ensure that we get a 2-star event. But have a look what we've got down here.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, unbelievable. This is the Arabian in costume class. Now, back in the very early days, the original Arabians were rather poor, and they didn't have a lot of money to spend on costumes, etc., etc. And so their costumes were very basic and very earthy. The colours were an earthy colour. There was very little jewellery, although a few beads and things were attached. And the horses, the equipment that they carried didn't show a lot of wealth. But then Hollywood got involved. And you've seen some of the Hollywood productions of Arabia. And they thought, oh no, they couldn't be that uninteresting. So they jazzed them all up. And they introduced tassels and flares and all sorts of things. And that became what we now call the show costume. So what we see here is the show costume style. But have a look at the way they've gone to the trouble to get these horses all decked out. Now, it must be a bit unnerving for the horses to all of a sudden have all this unusual stuff hanging around their legs and all the rest of it and on their necks, etc. But they accept it very readily. So we've got our very, very capable fashion advisor down there who will be able to give us a full description of the costumes being worn by these competitors.
Thanks very much, Graham. And of course, it allows for quite a lot of flair. As you were saying, the native costumes are all using the natural cottons and fibres of the desert, dyes that can be made on the spot for those costumes, but not with the show costumes. These competitors go to a great deal of trouble to think of the colour schemes to complement the colour of their horse. They have wonderful costumes ranging from golds, turquoise, pinks, reds, crimson, wonderful costumes. But it's not just about the costume. They do actually have to do a workout, and generally, folks, it includes a gallop. Quite a lot of consideration to safety. Believe it or not, under those headgear, they do have safety helmets, boys and girls, which are always essential whenever you're riding. They've managed to disguise them with these veils and headgear, but nevertheless they're there. And there's a stipulation that the depth of the costume must not exceed to allow the horse to move freely. They must use a stirrup, which they're doing. Once upon a time it was a pretty open slather and there were quite some dangerous situations. But now we still have the beauty, but with due regard to safety. So as soon as the ring settles down, we've got the wonderful jumps people that are so terrific at getting that equipment out in a hurry to have a little bit of a quiet area for these horses to work in. And our judge, Sue Oberg, will get a chance. I can't comment too much on the costumes until the class is judged, but there are still some very traditional items within the realm of the show costume.
Yep. Thank you.
Intricate beading and design, wonderful textures on all the fabrics on these horses. Just beautiful costumes, but it's how the horse handles it as well. The horse still has to go like a normal show horse, canter around on the correct lead, look flashy, but nevertheless still do the right job. So our judge, very knowledgeable, has to take all things into account. How the outfit suits the horse and how the horse copes with it, and you'll see we're getting it pretty fast over there. And they say the temperament of the Arabian, I don't think there'd be many other breeds of saddle horses that would cope as magnificently as these are doing. So just close your eyes, folks, and pretend you're in the desert and you come across the oasis and the Bedouins and all the wealth and splendour of Egypt.
So, Carol, we've also got two very important awards to be decided, and the exhibits are out here now. And we have the Supreme Champion Hackney Harness Horse or Pony. and this is the Mrs. Helen Thackeray Memorial Perpetual Trophy, donated by Mr. and Mrs. Egan of Macquarie Stud. They also received the RAS of New South Wales Award of Excellence. That's a medallion. There's a cash prize supported by the Show Harness Horse and Pony Association of New South Wales. Up the other end, with the big heavy horses, we have the champion and reserve champion multiple horse business turnout. And it carries with it the Philip Carter Perpetual Trophy, donated by the Carter family. And product prize for the champion is supported by International Animal Health products to the value of $120. And Mr. Philip Carter was a man who had a long history with the World Agricultural Society of New South Wales. The award is a 19th century electroplated silver samovar with bright cut engraved foliage and scroll decoration made by W.H. raised on a square timber base, donated by the Carter family in recognition of the years of commitment by Philip Carter to the RAS of New South Wales, first presented in 2001. Mr. Carter served for 30 years on the RAS Council until his retirement in 2000. He has been a judge at numerous country shows and royal shows with the exception of Sydney, and he has been a member of the cattle, meat, horse, fodder, veterinary and agriculture committees and has been chief steward of the heavy harness and small goods section since 1971. Awarded for champion multiple horse business turnout, and Philip Leonard Carter was an RAS councillor from 1971 to 1988, RAS vice president from 1988 to 2000, and an RAS honorary vice president from 2000 until 2013. When we look back over the wonderful teams that have won this in the previous years, Mrs. Margaret Carter will be here to make the presentation. So Carlton United Breweries was successful the first two occasions, then Cooper's Breweries took over. Carlton won it in 2005, Cooper's in 2006, Foster's Australia in 2007, Ross and Miriam Carberry in 2008, Foster's Australia in 2009 and 10, Carlton United in 2011, and Mike Keogh, Elizabeth Murphy and Cooper's Breweries in 2012, and they repeated that last year. So the two exhibits that we have down there at the moment, and the four in hand is the Carberry nomination, and that's Carberry Estate Peak, Carberry Estate Quicksand, Carberry Estate Stardust and Carberry Estate Quicksilver. And the three Clydesdales there are Scott Barlow from Yarramundi, and they are Sergeant, Banjo and Harry, and that is the Clydesdale restaurant from Windsor. They're absolutely unbelievable. Our judges have a pretty tough time here making a decision. Now the Mrs. Helen Thackeray Memorial Perpetual Trophy, we have 5 exhibits down there. Well, there's only 4 at the moment. I'm just having a look to see if one more than one class. No, it didn't. But we have Cherry Farm Alaric, R&K Jones and R&M Bensley. That's exhibit number 725. Number 332, Vince Corvey, Margaret Beggs and Terry Cowan. Hudson Vamoose. Number 449, Hudson Van, Robert and Charlotte and Edwina Duddy from Willow Tree. Woodhurst Account. Number 333, Vince Corvey, Margaret Begg and Terry Cowan. And that's probably the reason why there's only 4 and not 5, because they have 2 exhibits. Robin Anderson and Mr. Andrew James with Regate Revelation, number 53, is the other exhibit. So a very important award, and the cold cast bronze horse by Mary Pinsett. Edition 45 of 100, raised on a rectangular timber base. The trophy was donated by Mr. and Mrs. Egan of Macquarie Stud in memory of Mrs. Helen Thackeray, who was the original founder of Macquarie Stud. First presented in 1990, and it's awarded for the Supreme Champion Hackney Harness Horse or Pony. And boy, haven't there been some wonderful winners? So 2 very important awards to be decided. And of course there's an important award down here with the Arabian costume class.
And a long time since we saw these Arabians in costume out here on the hallowed turf of the Sydney Royal Easter Show. It's great to see them make the comeback and do it in such a spectacular fashion. Over to you, Graham.
Thanks, Carol. And we now have the result. There's the winner's music, the Arabian Show or Native Costume Club. Our winner, congratulations, number 315, Top Fancy Let's Party. Keely Copeman from Mount Gambier in South Australia. The second placing to number 84, Argowan Margarita. Elijah Babazzoli from Gossodia. Third placing to number 723, River Arc Monarch, Alexandra Jones from North Richmond. Well done and congratulations, and we do say thanks for going to all the trouble to bring yourselves out so magnificently in the show costume, in the Arabian Show and Native Costume Club. Do I have to chat to somebody, Carol? Where are you?
I'm beside this beautiful horse that handled this costume so well. Up close, it's amazing. The beading, the intricate work on the maroon part has got little diamantes and simulated rubies on the gold scroll work. Across the shoulders there, magnificent diamante patterns with gold tassels, and oh boy, it's just spectacular. Now, who made it for you?
My mum did.
Oh, isn't that lovely? So do you want to say a big thank you to Mum?
Thank you, Mum.
Well, this horse has come a long way for this, and your outfit too is absolutely beautiful, all complementing. But the important thing was it's a quality horse underneath and handled it well. Was it fun out there hooning about?
Yeah, it definitely was. This is Party's last show, so I'm glad he ended it on a good note.
Oh, that's a nice thing, isn't it? Well done to all of them. The chestnut horse in the second place has got this beautiful maroon, gold and black with the tassels. They're all in snaffles, which is a great thing to see, basic control. This beautiful bay here with black and it's sort of a turquoisey blue, all beaded, magnificently beaded. Wonderful. And gosh, look at the spectacular tassel work on this red outfit on this bay horse. Just awesome. Did you have fun too?
Yes.
Okay, well done. They handled it so magnificently.
Hey, Carol.
Yes, Graham.
Have a look at the big screen. Look what we've got up here.
Oh.
There's the beautiful Percherons from Carberry Estate. And while you was talking and interviewing the place getters down there, we also had our remote cameraman down there, and he had the camera on the Clydesdale restaurant. Have a look at them backing back. Now that takes a lot of skill, and it also takes some very well-trained horses. The two underneath the feet, they are the ones that actually do the backing. The two out in front, they just have to walk backwards, because if they don't walk, the other two are going to drag them, and that's not a lot of fun. So Ross Carvery up there driving, and Ross is a very experienced driver, and you've got to be skilled to drive a four-in-hand team. The two out in front, well, there's no pole, there's no shafts. They can turn around and look you straight in the eye. Here's the feather on the big Clydesdales, thanks to our great work of our cameraman. And that's Simon down there, I'm sure. And there's the head. Look at the winkers. Look at the winkers, the collar and hames around the horse's neck, and that's where they get the pulling power from. So these Clydesdales with the beautiful plumes up on their head, 3 of them. It's a pretty unusual formation. You've got the one in the middle in between the shafts. You've got one either side on the outside of the shafts.
Well, here come these Arabians along the track, and they are bowling along. And you will hear when you come to this stand where all the Arabian people who know what they're doing, they will give them the traditional call, the ulila. This is what you do with the Arabians. Can you hear that noise from the rest? That's the cheering sound of the desert call.
Well, there's some more nice close-up shot. That was the guy with his foot on the brake. And there's the rear of the restaurant. You can hop up the steps and go inside. We did see, while that was going on, the guests inside sitting at the tables in the dress of the era, and it really was very, very special. And our cameraman do a wonderful job. Congratulations, boys. We get great vision all the time from the arena, and when we go down there with the remote camera from right up with the action. Look at those Clydes. They're The expression on their face tells you they're working hard, particularly that one in the middle. Because the one in the middle does the steering, the one in the middle does the brake, the one in the middle does the reversing if it's necessary. The two on the outside, well, they have to share the load. And if we watch closely, there are straps that come from up on the collar. They go right down. There's a swindle bar just in front of the driver's feet. And if those straps go slack, that means they've gone out of draft. And that means they're not pulling their load. They're not sharing the load. And that's not really done. You should do your share of the work. So let's have a look. I know that trace is up reasonably tight, but it looked by the expression on the face of the guy in the middle that he reckons he's doing more of the work. So very interesting. And there wouldn't be too many of those. In fact, Carol asked our judge from Canada whether he'd ever seen anything like that, and he said no, he hadn't. But you'll notice there, look at their tails, all bunded up. And you can see the ribbons in the tail, you can see the braiding up on the mane, and of course the plume. Here we go backing. Look at that horse in the middle, leaning back, the hind quarters right back over the legs, pushing, pushing, pushing. And he's got a leather strap behind his hind quarters, and that's how he pushes the vehicle backwards. So our beautiful light harness ponies over there competing for a very special award, the Supreme Champion. So what happens is we judge the classes, we get class winners. The class winners then go and compete for the championship in that particular section. Then we bring out the champions of each section, and they compete for the title of Supreme Champion. So as you're working your way up, it's sort of kind for kind. Now it's just a little bit different because we have horses against ponies and different types of vehicles and different types of classes against each other. But we've got very competent judges, and they know exactly what they're doing and what they're looking for and what the requirements are, and they will select the best horse on the day for the Supreme Champion Hackney Harness Horse or Pony. And our very special thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Egan of Macari Stud, and they have presented this award in memory of the late Mrs. Helen Thackeray. Now, a little bit later on, and it won't be too far down the track, in fact, in under half an hour, we're going to have a very, very special presentation, and that is for the Excellence in Agriculture, a big ceremony where we make a presentation to a lot of people who have made a real contribution to agriculture and to the Sydney show. Now, there's the big Percherons up close. You'll notice the difference in the collar. The collar on the Percheron sort of sweeps up a lot more than the collar on our Clydesdale. And the Clydesdale collar is designed in such a way that all the water runs off. Now you can see an eyelet there on the side of the collar, and the brown leather rein you can see is going through that eyelet, and it goes out to the front horse. The eyelet is there so that the rein, because of its length, can't get down onto the ground. So Ross Carberry has two reins in his right hand, two reins in his left hand. One rein goes to the front horses under his feet, the other rein goes to the horses out on the loose trace. So there's a rope hanging in underneath the driver's seat, and that would be used to tie the load on if necessary. Now when you're sitting up there, and from time to time, you are asked to fan the team out, and when you fan the team out, when you look down, there's nothing in front of you, because the horse has gone 90 degrees to the load.
And Graham, we were talking earlier, Angus was saying about, of course, the Percherons coming from France, and the heavy horses that were used in the war, particularly for the guns, for hauling the limbers, the guns in the war. What a wonderful service they gave. Their mates were shot in the traces, and they just stood while the world was on fire around them. And there's a magnificent tribute by our own Will Ogilvie to the heavy horses, and it's called The Offside Leader. And just a little bit out of it says, he can turn the lead at the least command and charge a house at the slap of my hand, and turn from a shell to nuzzle my knee, the pride and the wonder of Battery B. So I want no praise, this only I ask, the gift of one gunner. For I know a place where I'd leave a brown mare with a blaze on her face, mid low leafy lime trees in cocksfoot and clover, to dream with the dragonflies glistening over. It's a little bit out of a Will Ogilvie poem that showed just how much those men appreciated what those heavy horses did in the early times of war, and the only thing they wanted was to be able to take them home.
So another exhibit has come out here into the ring where the Philip Carter Memorial Trophy is being judged, and this is the exhibit that was second to the horses or the teams that have been chosen as the champion. This, in the opinion of the judges, may be a better example and a better exhibit than the other class winner. So Ross Marriott from Foster in Victoria and Maroka Clydesdale Stowe. So the exhibitors down there know who's got the championship, but I'll keep it as a secret from the general public for the moment. So over in the Hackney ring, we can see the Hackney there being asked to reverse. The Hackney's one of the hot bloods, and you don't normally stand them still for too long because all they want to do is go. Look at the action. Look at the high stepping action of the front legs and the hind legs, the hock action and the knee action. And of course, not only do they have to get the legs up high, they've also got to reach out. They must cover the ground because they're there to transport you from one location to the other. And if they're not covering the ground, it's going to take you a long time to get there. So the Hackney is an exhibit that can trot all day at a steady pace, and they cover about 24 kilometres an hour in our new time. So they really are wonderful machine, trotting machine. In fact, the horse is really, really well engineered. I don't know who designed it, but they were certainly very good engineers with all sorts of angles and so forth, and the way they actually work is tremendous. Now, did you know that the horse has a skeleton very similar to ours? But there's one very big difference, and that is they don't have a collarbone. Now, if you look at yourself, your arm is attached to your spine via the collarbone. The horse's front leg is attached to the spine just straight on. It's only tendons and things that hold it together. Cows are the same. We're about the only animal that I can think of that actually has a collarbone. So they're lining up, and it's going to be a pretty anxious moment because this is the one they all want to win, the Helen Thackeray Memorial Perpetual Trophy. Donated by Ron and Debbie Egan of Macari Stud, and Macari Stud, as far as Hackneys are concerned, have just been so successful.
I'm just checking in the toolbox there because every good vehicle has to be prepared for problems or breakdowns or emergencies, and our judges are very thorough. They opened up that toolbox at the back and saw that there were ropes and spanners and all the sort of things you need. Of course, the ropes are beautifully coiled, that everything's in immaculate condition, which makes a big difference, doesn't it? Not a bit like my boot, that's for sure.
No, and of course, another thing I once saw where the judge actually took the spanner out of the toolbox and checked to make sure that it fitted the nut. If it doesn't fit the nut, what's the good of having it? You might as well throw it away.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, you know, it gets down to that finer point.
Attention to detail is what success is all about.
Amazing. So the collar is a very important thing. It's just as important as having nice, comfortable shoes on as far as the horse is concerned. So what they do, it's got a very heavy and solid outer shell. There's a groove in it so the hames can fit in neatly and snugly and be able to be pushed forward because the hames is the way the traces are attached to the lorry. But the inside can either be very, very soft leather or, in a lot of cases, collar check blanket. And in between the outer shell and the soft inner surface is wheat and rice. And they pack it in really, really tight, and over a period of time it becomes a nice snug fit on the horse. Well, Carol, here's the one we've been waiting for. I've got the result now of the Supreme Champion, Hackney Harness Pony or Horse. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the fanfare is for the announcement of the Supreme Champion, Hackney Harness Horse or Pony, and congratulations to number 332, Vince Corvey, Margaret Beggs and Terry Cowan, and Hudson Vamoose from Malimba in Queensland. And oh boy, so we add Hudson Vamoose to the record of Supreme Champions, but when we look back, Vince Corvey, Terry Cowan won it in 2009 and 10. They were joined by Margaret Beggs to win in 2011, 2012 and 2013, and they have now won it 4 times in a row. So well done, but this time with a different exhibit. So congratulations to Vince, Terry and Margaret Beggs. So I don't know whether it's Terry or whether it's Vince that's driving, but Carol is down there, so she will certainly let us know if she has a chat with him.
Well, they're just presenting this marvellous trophy to the team here. Margaret Beggs, Vince Corvey, Terry Cowan, what wonderful, wonderful exhibitors they've been. Successful with saddle horses, supremely successful with harness. And when he just takes that award certificate, Terry, can you say a few words for us about this marvellous horse?
Yes, he is a marvellous fellow. But in all honesty, I have to really fess up and say, all I do is drive Vince's training. I'm sort of like the old border collie dog at home who chases the wheels around and always here and always there. And Vince does the training. So today, all I've done is just drive Vince's training.
What a humble man, what a wonderful thing to say. There's more to it than that, I know, Terry, but well done to all of you. And name goes on this magnificent trophy. Debbie Akerster, what a thrill that must have been.
Oh, it was such a pleasure to watch. It was beautifully executed, that workout, and it just gave me so much joy as you were coming back to the line. I nearly had tears. It was beautifully done. Thank you very much. He may train it, but you drove it today, and it was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm rushing back down to these wonderful big horses down here. It's just superb action down here in the main arena with champions and supremes left, right and centre.
So we have to thank those that made the presentations of the Helen Thackeray Memorial Petrol Trophy, and also there was the RAS of New South Wales Award of Excellence, the medallion presented for the Supreme Champion. So we'll get the results shortly as Carol comes across the grass, and you can see our staging and dais coming out, and that is for this very special presentation today, the Excellence in Agriculture ceremony.
And we've had wonderful days throughout the show. We had Heritage Day first up, where we had look back on all the traditions of the past and the way it used to be. And then we've had Excellence in Agriculture, and we've got Seniors Days coming up, and what else? Youth in Agriculture, and of course finishing with Kids Day at the end of the show.
So we're just waiting on this result to come through. And look at this magnificent, magnificent Hackney. So come on, everybody, put your hands together. And Vince and Terry and Margaret Beggs have been associated with absolutely magnificent harness exhibits over a long, long period of time. This magnificent Hackney, look at the action. Getting those knees right up, bending the leg at the knee to about 90 degrees. And these horses, watch the body, watch the body. The body roll on a Hackney is much less than any other. And that's important, particularly when you are in a two-wheel vehicle. Because if you're in a two-wheel vehicle, the body roll is transmitted through to the shafts. and then that is in turn transmitted through to the vehicle. So as you're going along, it's almost like being out at sea and rolling over the waves. And the Hackney, because of its action, doesn't have as much body roll as any of the others, and people say they are much more comfortable to drive in a two-wheel vehicle. People claim, or the Hackney people claim, you can put a glass of water on their rump and you won't spill a drop.
And the show-offs too, the more you cheer them, the more they strut. They are just so proud of themselves. They are the Rolls-Royce of the horse, the harness horse world. But here we've got at the other end of the spectrum, still in harness, but these magnificent teams. Again, back to the way things may have been done in the past, these multiple deliveries, and we're ready with a fanfare to see who will take out this big championship.
Well, the harness exhibitors all know who the champion is, but we'll make it official now. The champion, multiple horse business turnout. Congratulations to number 244, Ross and Miriam Carberry from Holbrook in New South Wales, with Carberry Estate Quicksilver, Carberry Estate Stardust, Redbank Magnum and Carberry Estate Master Flame. 4 magnificent big Percherons. Our reserve champion, and this is the one they don't know, has gone to number 976. Maroka Clydesdale from Foster in Victoria, and Ross Marriott sitting up there. Bariga, Cull Ross and Maroka Maestro. And the Marriott family have been associated with Clydesdales for many, many years. And Ross and his brother Max are the sons of A.T. Marriott, who for years had wonderful Clydesdales. They had a brilliant 4-in-hand team that everybody tried to beat all the way down the line. The two brothers, now Max lives at Benalla, Ross lives at Foster in Victoria, but they have absolutely magnificent Clydesdales. And Andrew Marriott, Max's son, so that's Ross's nephew, exhibited the Supreme Champion Clydesdale lead. So this event carried the Philip Carter Perpetual Trophy, a 19th century electroplated silver samovar and bright cut engraved foliage and scroll decoration made by WWH on a raised and a square timber base, donated by the Carter family in recognition of the years of commitment to, or by Philip Carter to the RAS of New South Wales, and was first presented in 2001. And Mr Carter served for 30 years on the RAS Council until retirement in 2000. He's been a judge at numerous country shows and royal shows, with the exception of Sydney. He has been a member of the Cattle, Meat, Horse, Fodder, Veterinary and Agriculture Committees, and has been Chief Steward of the Heavy Harness and Small Goods section since 1971. Awarded for Champion Multiple Horse Business Turnout, and Philip Leonard Carter served as an RAS councillor from 1971 to 1988, was RAS Vice President from 1988 to 2000, and an Honorary Vice President from 2000 to 2013. So the brewery's dominated it for quite a while, and this is the first, no it's not, the Carberry's won it in 2008. And Mike Keogh, Elizabeth Murphy and Cooper's Brewery won it in 2012 and in 2013. But what an absolutely magnificent, magnificent team. Mrs. Margaret Carter is making the presentation of the Philip Carter Perpetual Trophy to the winning team, Mrs. Carter, the widow of the late Philip Carter. There's also a product prize for the Champion Multiple Horse Business Turnout, supported by International Animal Health Products. Mr. Jason Sutherland making the presentation. So congratulations. Carol, you got anybody down there? No, I don't think you're going to be able to climb up and talk to Ross Carberry.
No, I'm first of all going to speak to our international judge.
Oh yes, please do.
Mr. Brian Coleman, who's come all the way from Alberta in Canada for this show, and I'm sure he's delighted with his champions. But lots of things must go through your head. What makes a winner, Mr. Coleman?
Well, obviously the horse is working as a unit. Number one, that's the livestock component of it. Horses that work together as a unit, as one, and then everything that complements that. The equipment being clean, shone perfectly, and presented in a very traditional manner.
And the workout as well. They don't just stand there, do they?
That's for sure. These animals are athletes, so we want to make sure that they're out there and they work smoothly together and again, show us their capabilities and what they have to offer as a unit.
Well, it's been a delight to have you here, and I hope you've enjoyed your stay with us.
Yes, it's been wonderful, and we've really enjoyed our stay and hope to see a little bit of the city after we're finished judging.
Well, that'll be fun. Of course, Mr. Coleman is also on the council of the Calgary Stampede, so you've seen it all, haven't you?
Yes, it's been wonderful to have that experience and then come down here and see that there's advertisements for the Calgary Stampede right here at the Sydney show.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, and to everyone involved, to the wonderful harness exhibitors who go to so much trouble, first of all, finding these horses, finding these vehicles, preparing them, cleaning them, and bringing them out here for the Easter show. So when they go round, folks, show your appreciation. Your children's children may not see anything like this in the future, so let's encourage them to keep coming to the Royal Easter Show.
Absolutely magnificent. I'm sure we've got time, so I'm sure we can send them on a reasonable lap of honour. Now, it's not the most comfortable ride on these lorries and vehicles because they don't really have very good springing. But to sit up there and hear the clip-clop of the hooves and the